Did you know that there are places in your home that you clean less than you think? Yes, those seemingly harmless corners that hide loads of bacteria. Many times we think that a quick wipe is enough. But the truth is that those forgotten areas fill up with dirt and can affect your health and that of your family. The problem is that we don't always know which those places are. And that's where the danger begins. But don't worry. Today you're going to discover something that will change the way you clean your home forever. In this video, I'm going to show you 15 corners that you're surely forgetting to clean and that are filling with bacteria right now. The best part is that by the end, you'll have a clear and easy to follow list to make your home cleaner and safer without complications or expensive products. Imagine being able to eliminate those dirty spots that nobody sees with simple steps that you can do in minutes. You don't need to be an expert or buy special things. You just need to know where to look and how to act. I promise that by the end of this video, your cleaning routine will be more effective and your home much healthier. Want to know what those corners are? Some will surprise you, and one in particular is at the end because it's one of the most important and that almost nobody cleans. So stay until the end so you don't miss that vital fact. Now, get ready to transform your way of cleaning. Let's discover together those places that are full of bacteria and that you can change today. Because cleaning well is taking care of yourself and those you love. Ready? Let's begin. 1. The remote control, a bacteria magnet. It seems harmless, right? But in reality, the remote is one of the objects we touch the most daily and rarely clean thoroughly. Imagine all the hands that have used it, the dirt that accumulates between its buttons, and the bacteria that grow there without you noticing. The problem is that, by not cleaning it well, those bacteria can get on your hands and then to your mouth, nose, or even the food you prepare. So, although we use it all the time, the remote control is a true forgotten focus of germs. How to solve it? It's easier than you think. First, turn off the TV and remove the batteries from the remote. Then, with a soft cloth slightly dampened with water and a little soap, clean the entire surface, paying special attention to the buttons where more dirt accumulates. Use a cotton swab or an old toothbrush to reach the corners and spaces between buttons. Avoid getting it too wet to prevent damage. Finally, dry the remote well with a dry cloth and put the batteries back in. Ideally, repeat this cleaning at least once a week, especially if there are children at home or someone has a cold. By following this simple routine, you not only keep the remote clean and free of bacteria, but also reduce the risk of infections and allergies. Additionally, a clean remote feels better to the touch and lasts longer because dirt can damage its components. So the next time you sit down to watch a movie, remember that a little care with the remote can make a big difference for your health and that of your family. Don't underestimate this forgotten corner. Cleaning it well is a simple step that brings you closer to a healthier and safer home. Ready to clean the remote and feel the difference? Let's move on to the next idea. 2. The toothbrush. Dirtier than you imagine. It may seem incredible, but that object you use every day to care for your mouth can also be full of bacteria if you don't clean it well. After each use, the brush remains damp, which creates the perfect environment for germs and bacteria to multiply. Additionally, if you store it in a closed place or near the toilet, the risk increases even more because bathroom bacteria can reach it. The problem is that many people forget to change the brush frequently or don't pay attention to how and where they store it. This can cause not only bad odor, but also infections in the mouth or more serious health problems. How to fix it? It's very simple. First, after using the brush, rinse it very well under water to remove traces of toothpaste and dirt. Then, shake it gently to remove excess water and let it air dry, preferably in a vertical position and in an open place, away from the toilet and other brushes to avoid cross-contamination. If you use a cup to store it, make sure it has holes so water doesn't accumulate. Additionally, it's important to change the brush every 3 months, or sooner if the bristles are worn. For extra care, once a week you can soak it in a solution of water with a little vinegar or baking soda for a few minutes and then rinse it very well. This step helps eliminate bacteria that aren't visible to the naked eye. Following these tips makes a big difference. Keeping your brush clean and in good condition not only protects your mouth from infections and diseases, but also improves your daily hygiene and your general health. A clean brush gives you confidence and peace of mind every time you use it. Additionally, by changing it regularly, you avoid the accumulation of resistant bacteria that can make you sick. So don't underestimate this small object that you use every day. Dedicating a little time and care to it is well worth it to take care of yourself and those you love. Now that you know how to keep the toothbrush clean and safe, get ready to discover the next forgotten corner that also needs your attention. 3. The kitchen sponge, the hidden nest of bacteria. It seems like a common and necessary object, but the truth is that the sponge you use to wash dishes can be one of the dirtiest places in your house. Every time you clean, the sponge remains damp and with food residue, which creates a perfect environment for bacteria and fungi to grow without you noticing. Additionally, since you use it to clean various things, you may be spreading germs throughout the kitchen without realizing it. The problem is that many people don't give it the attention it deserves or use it for weeks without changing or disinfecting it. This not only can cause bad odors, but also stomach illnesses and allergies. How to solve it? First, after each use, rinse the sponge well with hot water to remove food residue. Then, squeeze it to remove as much water as possible and let it dry in a ventilated place, away from sinks and damp surfaces. A good practice is to disinfect it at least twice a week. You can do this by putting it in the microwave for a minute, making sure it's wet to avoid accidents, or soaking it in a mixture of water with vinegar or with a little diluted bleach for a few minutes. Another option is to change the sponge every 2 weeks if you use it a lot. For a real example, imagine that after washing the dishes, instead of leaving the sponge damp in the sink, you squeeze it well and place it on a holder that allows it to dry quickly. Additionally, once a week, you put it in the microwave to disinfect it. These simple steps prevent bacteria from growing and multiplying. The benefits of following this routine are enormous. First, you reduce the risk of poisoning and diseases caused by bacteria that are in food residue. Second, you eliminate bad odors that usually appear when sponges are dirty. Third, you prolong the useful life of the sponge, because a well-cared-for sponge lasts longer without deteriorating. And most importantly, you keep your kitchen cleaner and safer for you and your family. Don't underestimate the power of a clean sponge. Small changes in how you care for it will greatly improve the hygiene of your home. Now that you know how to care for this much-used and forgotten object, stay tuned, because the next tip will reveal another corner that you're surely neglecting. 4. Light switches. The detail you forget. It seems like something very simple, right? We only touch them to turn the light on or off. But did you know that those switches can be full of bacteria and dirt? Every time you use your hands, you take all the dirt, dust, and germs you have on them to the switches. And since almost nobody cleans them regularly, they become a perfect place for bacteria to accumulate. The problem is that we touch these switches many times a day and then take our hands to our face, mouth, or to food, which makes it easy for those germs to enter our body and make us sick. Want to avoid this? Cleaning the switches is easier than you think. First, disconnect the electricity if possible, or be very careful not to directly wet the switches. Use a clean cloth and slightly dampened with water and a little soap or mild disinfectant. Pass the cloth over the entire surface of the switch, making sure to clean the edges and areas where more dirt accumulates well. If there are difficult stains, a little alcohol on a cotton ball can help remove them and also disinfect. It's also important to clean the switches at least once a week, especially in houses with children, sick people, or pets. For a practical example, imagine that every time you clean your house, you not only wipe the tables and floor, but also dedicate a few seconds to clean the switches in each room. In a few minutes, those objects that are usually forgotten will be clean and free of germs. The benefits of following this simple routine are many. First, you reduce the amount of bacteria and viruses on surfaces that you touch all the time. Second, you avoid contagions of colds, flu, and other diseases that are transmitted by contact. Third, you improve the general hygiene of your home, making it a healthier place to live. Additionally, a clean switch gives a better impression and looks more cared for, which is also important if you receive visitors. Don't let such a small detail become a focus of bacteria. Including the cleaning of switches in your routine is a quick, simple, and effective step to care for your health. So now you know the next time you clean, don't forget those small buttons that make your house light up. Now that you know this tip, get ready to discover another corner that you're surely letting pass without cleaning. 5. The door handle, the invisible point of germs. It seems like a small detail, but those handles that we touch several times a day can be a true magnet for bacteria and dirt. Every time you enter or leave a room, your hands take all types of germs to the handle that then return to your fingers and, if you don't wash your hands, can come in contact with your face or with food. The problem is that because it seems like such a common thing, we tend to forget to clean them frequently, and that's where viruses and bacteria that can make us sick accumulate. Want to avoid that? The solution is simple and quick. To keep handles clean, first select a clean cloth and a homemade or commercial disinfectant that doesn't damage the surface, such as a mixture of water with a little vinegar or a mild cleaner. Pass the cloth over the entire handle, making sure to cover all its parts well, including the sides and the base, where dirt hides. You can do this several times a week, especially on doors that you use the most, such as those of the bathroom, kitchen, or main entrance. For example, imagine that when starting your weekly cleaning, you begin by disinfecting all the handles in the house. In just a few minutes, you eliminate germs that could cause colds, flu, or even more serious infections. Additionally, if you have young children, this care is even more important since they tend to touch everything and then take their hands to their mouth. The benefits of this simple action are enormous. By cleaning handles regularly, you reduce the amount of bacteria in your home, decreasing the risk of contagions. You also avoid the formation of stains or accumulated dirt that make handles look old or dirty. And the best part is that this cleaning doesn't require much time or expensive products, just a little attention and consistency. Don't underestimate the power of such a small detail. Keeping handles clean is taking care of your health and that of your entire family. So, the next time you wipe the house, don't forget this invisible but very important corner. Now that you've learned this tip, get ready to discover another place that's surely waiting to be cleaned. 6. The hood filter, the great forgotten. The kitchen hood is essential to keep the air clean while you cook, but its filter tends to be a corner that almost nobody cleans regularly. Over time, the filter accumulates grease, dust, and food residue that not only affect its functioning, but also become a breeding ground for bacteria and bad odors. The problem is that, by forgetting to clean or change the filter, accumulated grease can attract insects and even affect the air quality in your kitchen and in the entire house. Want to avoid this? The solution is simpler than you imagine. First, check your hood filter to know if it's metal, paper, or carbon. Most have metal filters that can be easily washed. To clean it, carefully remove it and let it soak in hot water with soap or degreasing detergent for at least 30 minutes. Then, use a brush or sponge to remove accumulated grease. Afterward, rinse it well with clean water and let it dry before putting it back. If your filter is carbon, check the manufacturer's instructions, as it generally needs to be changed and not washed. Ideally, clean or change the filter every 1 or 2 months, depending on the use you give the hood. For example, if you cook a lot, put in your agenda to check and clean the hood filter every month. This way, you'll avoid grease accumulating and bacteria multiplying. The benefits of keeping the filter clean are many. First, it improves the air quality in your kitchen and in the entire house, which helps avoid allergies and respiratory problems. Second, it makes the hood work better and last longer because a clean filter doesn't get obstructed. Third, it eliminates bad odors and reduces the presence of insects around the kitchen. And the best part is that this cleaning is quick and economical. It only requires a little time and attention. Don't let such an important corner for the health of your home become a focus of bacteria and grease. With regular cleaning, your kitchen will be a cleaner, safer, and more pleasant place for you and your family. Now that you know how to care for the hood filter, stay tuned to discover another corner that you're surely forgetting to clean. Before we continue with the next tip, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. This way you won't miss any of these ideas that help you keep your house cleaner and healthier. Also activate the notification bell so that each time we upload a video, you'll be the first to see it. And now, I'd love for you to tell me here in the comments, which of these tips do you already apply in your house? What city are you watching from? And above all, which idea has surprised you the most so far? Your opinion is very important and helps us bring content that really serves you. So don't hesitate to write, share, and participate. Now let's continue with the content. 7. The computer keyboard, an invisible focus of bacteria. We use the keyboard every day, many hours, and without realizing it, our hands carry dust, grease, and germs that accumulate between the keys. Additionally, if you eat while you work or study, crumbs fall between them and mix with the dirt, creating a perfect environment for bacteria to grow. The problem is that because it seems like an object just for working, we forget to clean it frequently, and thus it becomes a hidden focus of germs that can affect your health. Want to change that? Cleaning the keyboard is easier than you imagine. First, turn off the computer to avoid problems. Then, gently turn the keyboard upside down and shake it to remove dust and crumbs. Afterward, use a small brush or a paintbrush to clean between the keys. To disinfect, slightly dampen a cloth with alcohol or a mild cleaner and pass it over the entire surface, avoiding liquid entering the keys. If you have disinfectant wipes, they also work very well. A good habit is to do this cleaning at least once a week, especially if you use the keyboard a lot or eat near it. For example, imagine that every Friday you dedicate a few minutes to clean your keyboard this way. By doing so, you eliminate germs that could cause infections, allergies, or skin irritations. The benefits of this routine are clear. First, you reduce the amount of bacteria that you touch every day, taking care of your health. Second, you keep the keyboard in better condition, avoiding dirt and dust damaging the keys or the functioning. Additionally, a clean keyboard looks better and makes you more eager to use it. Don't let this corner that's so important and used in your house become a problem. With little time and attention, you can keep it clean and safe for you. So now you know, don't forget to give your keyboard the care it deserves. Now get ready to discover the next corner that you're surely forgetting to clean. 8. The hairbrush, a refuge for bacteria and dirt. We use the brush every day to comb our hair, but we rarely think about how dirty it gets. Between the hairs that get trapped, the dust, and the natural grease of the scalp, the brush accumulates bacteria that can cause irritations, dandruff, or even skin infections. The problem is that if you don't clean it regularly, this small object becomes a focus of germs that return to your hair and scalp each time you use it. Want to avoid this? Cleaning the brush is simpler than it seems. First, remove all the hairs that are tangled between the bristles. You can use a fine comb or your fingers to do it carefully. Then, fill a container with warm water and a little mild soap or shampoo. Submerge the brush and let it soak for a few minutes to loosen dirt and grease. Afterward, use a small brush or cloth to rub the bristles and remove residue. Rinse well with clean water and let it air dry, with the bristles facing down so water doesn't accumulate in the base. Do this cleaning at least once a week to keep the brush in good condition. For example, imagine that every Sunday you dedicate 5 minutes to care for your brush this way. By doing so, you avoid bacteria accumulating and affecting the health of your scalp. The benefits of keeping the hairbrush clean are many. First, you reduce the possibility of irritations and problems on the scalp. Second, you keep your hair cleaner and shinier because you avoid dirt and grease transferring back. Third, you prolong the useful life of the brush, which remains in good condition for longer. And the best part is that this cleaning is quick and doesn't require expensive products. Just a little time and dedication. Don't let an object that you use every day become a problem for your health. With small care, you can keep your brush clean and take better care of yourself. Now that you know how to give love to this forgotten corner, get ready to discover the next tip that will help you have a healthier and cleaner home. 9. The mobile phone keyboard, a bacteria magnet. We use the phone all the time, take it everywhere and touch it with our hands, which sometimes aren't clean. Additionally, we set it down on different surfaces and share it with other people without realizing the amount of germs that accumulate on its screen and keyboard. The problem is that, although we clean the screen frequently, we forget that the parts around the keyboard or the edges also accumulate dirt and bacteria that can pass to our hands and then to the face or mouth, causing infections. Want to change that? Cleaning the mobile keyboard is simple and quick. First, turn off the phone to avoid touching buttons accidentally or damaging it. Then, use a microfiber cloth slightly dampened with water or with a little hand sanitizer, without soaking the cloth, to gently clean the entire surface, focusing on areas where more dirt accumulates, such as the edges and around the keys or buttons. Avoid using aggressive products that can damage the screen or the phone's coating. For a real example, imagine that every night, before going to bed, you clean your phone with this cloth. In just a few minutes, you eliminate bacteria and dirt that could cause skin problems or infections. The benefits of this routine are clear. First, you reduce the amount of germs that you touch daily, taking care of your health and avoiding diseases. Second, you keep your phone in better condition, avoiding dirt damaging the screen or buttons. Additionally, a clean mobile is more pleasant to the touch and improves screen visibility. Don't underestimate the importance of this care. A small habit like cleaning the keyboard and the phone screen can make a big difference for your well-being. So the next time you use your mobile, remember to give it that special care it deserves. Now that you know this tip, get ready to discover another corner that you're surely forgetting to clean. 10. The cutting board, the corner that can make you sick. We use the cutting board every day to prepare food, but many times we don't give it the cleaning it deserves. Food residue, especially from raw meat or vegetables, can get trapped in the grooves and cracks of the board, creating a perfect environment for bacteria to grow without you noticing. The problem is that if you don't clean the board well, those bacteria can contaminate other foods and cause stomach diseases or infections. How to solve it? It's simpler than you think. After using the board, rinse it with hot water and soap, making sure to rub all surfaces well, including the edges. For a deeper cleaning, you can use a mixture of water with vinegar or with baking soda, which helps eliminate bacteria and odors. If you have a wooden board, it's important to dry it well to avoid it getting damp and fungi forming. Additionally, it's recommended to have separate boards for meat, vegetables, and bread to avoid cross-contamination. For example, imagine that after preparing a salad, you clean the board with water and soap, then apply a little vinegar to disinfect and dry it well before storing it. This routine prevents bacteria from accumulating and your food from getting contaminated. The benefits of following this tip are many. First, you reduce the risk of poisoning and diseases caused by bacteria in food. Second, you keep the board in good condition for longer, avoiding it getting damaged or filling with bad odors. Third, you take care of your family's health by preparing food in a clean and safe place. And the best part is that this cleaning doesn't take much time, and you only need products that you surely already have at home. Don't underestimate the importance of a clean board. It's one of the corners that accumulates the most bacteria, and that can affect your health. So, the next time you cook, remember to give the board the care it deserves. Now that you know how to keep it clean and safe, get ready to discover the next tip that will help you have a healthier home. Don't forget to take a look at my ebook that I prepared especially for you. The link is fixed in the comments so you can find it easily and quickly. In this ebook, you'll find step-by-step instructions with various cleaning strategies that you can apply starting today. It's super practical material, straight to the point, designed for those who want to live with more peace and without complications. There are no detours here, just clear and useful advice for your house to be clean and healthy without losing time. Run over there, download the ebook, and then tell me what you thought. I'm sure it will help you a lot and will make your cleaning routine much easier and more effective. Don't wait any longer to transform your home and your life with these tips that are within everyone's reach. See you in the comments. 11. The mouse pad, a dirty and forgotten corner. We use the mouse pad every day when we work or browse on the computer, but we rarely think about cleaning it. Over time, dirt, dust, hand grease, and even food residue accumulate on its surface, creating an ideal environment for bacteria to multiply without you noticing. The problem is that by not cleaning this surface, bacteria can pass to your hands and then to your face or mouth, increasing the risk of infections or skin irritations. Want to avoid this? Cleaning the mouse pad is very easy. First, check what material it's made of. Some can be washed with water and soap. Others only need a damp cloth. For fabric pads, you can submerge them in warm water with mild soap and gently rub with a sponge to remove dirt. Then rinse it well and let it air dry without exposing it directly to the sun. If your pad is plastic or synthetic material, clean the surface with a cloth dampened with a little alcohol or mild disinfectant, avoiding getting it too wet. For example, imagine that every 2 weeks you dedicate a few minutes to clean your pad this way. With that small gesture, you eliminate dirt and bacteria that could affect your health. The benefits of keeping the mouse pad clean are many. First, you reduce the amount of germs that you touch daily, taking care of your skin and avoiding irritations or infections. Second, you keep your workspace more hygienic and pleasant. Additionally, a clean pad helps the mouse work better and last longer. Don't let such a small detail go unnoticed. With a little attention and care, you can transform your routine and take better care of yourself. So now you know. Don't forget to clean the mouse pad and give it the care it deserves. Now get ready to discover another corner that you're surely letting pass without cleaning. 12. The edge of the refrigerator, the corner that accumulates dirt and bacteria. The refrigerator is one of the most important appliances in the house, but we rarely think about cleaning the edge of the door well. Dust, food residue, moisture, and bacteria accumulate there that can affect the hygiene of the place and even cause bad odors. The problem is that by not cleaning that part, bacteria can come in contact with food and contaminate what we store inside. Want to avoid this? Cleaning the edge of the refrigerator is simpler than it seems. First, disconnect the refrigerator for greater safety and open the door. Use a damp cloth with a little mild soap to clean all the rubber or seal that's around the door. Pay attention to the crevices and corners where more dirt accumulates. If you find difficult stains, a little white vinegar diluted in water can help you remove them and disinfect the area. After cleaning, dry well with a dry cloth to avoid moisture remaining that can generate mold. For example, imagine that once a month, you dedicate a few minutes to clean the edge of the refrigerator with this method. This way, you keep that space free of dirt and bacteria. The benefits of this routine are many. First, you avoid bad odors and the formation of mold that can damage the refrigerator and food. Second, you maintain the hygiene of the appliance and protect the quality of the food you consume. Third, you prolong the useful life of the refrigerator because a clean seal works better and prevents cold from escaping. Don't let such an important corner go unnoticed. With a little care, you can keep your refrigerator clean and safe for you and your family. Now that you know how to clean the edge of the refrigerator, get ready to discover another corner that you're surely forgetting. 13. The air conditioner remote control, a hidden focus of bacteria. We use this control every day to adjust the temperature, but we rarely think about cleaning it. Over time, dirty hands, dust, and moisture make the control become a perfect place for bacteria to grow and multiply. The problem is that by not cleaning it, those bacteria can pass to your hands and then to your face or mouth, increasing the risk of respiratory diseases or allergies. Want to change that? Cleaning the remote control is very simple. First, remove the batteries to avoid accidents. Then, use a soft cloth slightly dampened with water and a little soap or alcohol to clean the entire surface, paying attention to the buttons where more dirt accumulates. For difficult areas, a cotton swab helps reach corners. Avoid getting the control too wet to avoid damaging it. For example, imagine that every week you dedicate a few minutes to clean the remote control this way. This way, you eliminate bacteria and prolong the useful life of the device. The benefits of this routine are clear. First, you reduce the risk of contagions and allergies caused by accumulated germs. Second, you keep the control in good condition and working well. Additionally, a clean control feels better to the touch and gives a better impression in your home. Don't underestimate this small object that you use daily. With a little care, you can keep it clean and take care of your health. Now that you know how to do it, get ready to discover another corner that you need to clean. 14. The window edge, a corner full of dust and bacteria. Many times we open and close windows without thinking that their edges accumulate dirt, dust, moisture, and bacteria that can affect the quality of air in our house. The problem is that if we don't clean these edges regularly, dirt accumulates and can generate mold, bad odors, and even cause allergies or respiratory problems. Want to avoid this? Cleaning the window edge is easier than you think. First, prepare a clean, damp cloth with water and a little mild soap. Pass the cloth along the entire edge, making sure to clean the corners and areas where more dust usually accumulates well. If you notice mold or difficult dirt, you can use a little vinegar diluted in water to disinfect and remove stains. Then dry well with a dry cloth to avoid moisture remaining that favors the appearance of fungi. For example, imagine that every 2 weeks you dedicate a few minutes to this cleaning. You'll notice that dust and dirt disappear and the air in your house feels fresher and cleaner. The benefits of keeping window edges clean are several. First, you improve air quality and reduce allergies and respiratory problems. Second, you prevent mold from spreading and damaging walls or frames. Third, you keep your house cleaner and more pleasant with less dust in general. And the best part is that this cleaning doesn't take much time or effort. Don't let a corner so visible and at the same time forgotten affect your well-being. With a little care, you can keep your windows clean and your home healthier. Now that you know how to do it, get ready to discover the last tip that can transform your cleaning routine.